down. So if I'm recruiting and I'm bringing all of these people in, it's like, okay, well, what happens after that? You know, if you treat your business like, okay, my job is not only sales, it's also team coordination. So what does that involve? If you were working a full-time job at a corporation and you were a team coordinator, you'd be checking in with them and scheduling events. You'd be checking in, hey, how are your numbers? How are things going? What are your goals? What are you projecting for this quarter? They are in constant communication with the working pieces that is their team. That is your job. You are a team coordinator, giving your team points of connection and contact. So things like this, right? Julie did not, I mean, you know, she did with some encouragement, but there was never like somebody that sat me down and said, okay, Sarah, you're going to do Zoom calls for onboarding once a week, and you're going to do training calls to help people learn about Instagram. And I didn't, like, nobody is going to appoint you. You just kind of have to take the ownership and like, this is what I'm doing. And don't worry about the outcome of all of it. Like your leadership, just worry about what you're doing. That being said, utilize these calls, like what we're doing with you guys in the Telegram. Every single one of you should have your entire team in that Telegram. That's how duplication happens. This is team coordination. I'm bringing Julie, bringing her team together and pouring in knowledge, helping you guys, you know, learn the business and connecting you to other points like the Telegram and things like that. All of that is team coordination. So make sure that your teams are in there, they're seeing the notifications, and they're getting on these calls. That being said, I see so many people that get to like MMB and then they start a team page, or they start doing like all these trainings for their team. Not yet. Director. You wait for a director for that to happen. Yes. Host events with your team. Yes. Like do Zoom calls with your team. But don't let it overtake you. You're still building the foundation of your business leading up to MM. So your behavior of recruiting customers and market partners doesn't stop. A lot of people, it stops once they get to MM. The reason why I suggest you don't make team pages is because, think about it this way. If you were to go to a party, right? You don't know anybody. Somebody's like, hey, come to this party with me. It's going to be amazing. And then you go to the party and then you walk in the door and there's like 3 people there and nobody's talking. Nobody is excited to see you. There's no conversation happening. And you're like, what the hell? But if you walk in that door and it is full of people and they're all excited and they're welcoming you and the engagement is high, the energy is high, they're going to be like, okay, I want to stick around here. Like, I want to see what's up. We don't tell you not to start a team page to be mean. We do it because it's like we're trying, the more people we can get into one central area, the better. That's why I always recommend you're like, who is the nearest director that you can really point people as like, this is their page. You're going to follow this page. This is going to be their resource. You know, you're going to pay attention to these announcements and those things. Again, your job as a team coordinator, let your team know when there's trainings and things like this happening. Okay. So, next is, you know, what Connie and Brittany talked about this a little bit the other day, but what do you envision for your business? If you haven't already made the proclamation of I envision a Cadillac rank business, you're on this call for a reason. And I would absolutely make that like, okay, this is what I envision. What do you really see? Like, does your business offer you freedom? Does it offer you time? Like, what do you really hope? What would an extra $3,000 a month do for your family? Write that down. It was in the Telegram today for a reason. And you need to write it down, and then above it, you need to ask, is it worth it? And you're going to tape that to a mirror. So for me, it was, I wanted to be able to pay my mom's mortgage. I wanted to be able to pay off my student loans. I wanted to buy my mom a washer and dryer. I wanted to buy my own house. And that was what I envisioned seeing happening from my business. I wanted more time with my family. And then I put it on a mirror and I asked myself, is it worth it? So on the days when it's like, I don't want to be a team coordinator. I don't want to be the first one with the keys today. I don't want to be the last one out the door today. Is it worth it? That's what you're working for. And just know that this is a marathon. It is not necessarily a sprint, but you have to work with urgency. So it's like, okay, if you are working with urgency, your team's working with urgency, that's how you're going to get some growth to happen. And Julie's going to talk a little bit more about how you can get, some fires percolating. But working with urgency, like, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm doing. You're either with me or you're not. I'm putting numbers on the board. Whether you are or not, it is not up to your team. But I promise you, if you take the approach of like, I am doing this with or without you, I'm working with urgency, and you're sharing with everybody publicly, whether it's on social media, face to face, the vision that you have for your business, then that's going to be huge. Publicly share your vision for your business. And you have to be the one to create the wave. Connie and Brittany were talking about that the other day, that so many of you probably have teammates that you have brought in and they might be contributing, but for whatever reason, you just can't get them going. Go find a new team. And in the midst of going to find a new team, you dig through what is already there and see, like, there has to be somebody in here that I can work with. So and when you love people where they're at. If they're not necessarily wanting to run, okay, fine. I'll be here when you're ready to run, but I'm not going to sit down on the bench and wait with you. Go out and find more people. We all encounter that. If you are experiencing that where you've recruited people and they're not moving, I promise you are not special. If you've like magically recruited 3 or 4 people and they all took off running and you got yourself to MM, then you are very special. Then I give you big kudos. But we all encounter it. People that aren't going to move. But you have to inspire them by your actions. So you putting numbers on the boards and things like that. Okay. Let me make sure Julie is ready for me to pass this off to her.
Yeah.
Okay. Julie, one of the things that really helped me to get my team, because I was recruiting and I had a really great front line, lots of market partners that I brought in, but I couldn't ever get depth. I could get width. So Julie gave me a little tip that it really connected for me. I'm going to let her share that with you guys.
Oh my goodness. Everything that you said was really good, Sarah, and actually is going to flow perfectly into this. So I'm super glad that you did this topic. Okay. So we're going to talk about kindling. You guys want to bring the heat? I see Jennifer Ferraro on here. So we already know there's some heat in the house for sure. Okay. So listen, you guys, this is how you bring the heat on your team. And this is how you get big organizations on fire. Okay. So your big organizations, the bigger the rank you are, the bigger the log you are. All right. What you have to do with your team is break it down. And that's why I love this topic for this call, because we're talking about MMs. Well, after you hit a certain rank, I always say this, your mindset changes a little bit. You think your job title changes. Well, it really goes back to the same exact thing. But what you have to do is just remember the kindling. So what I mean by that, if you guys are like MM ranks, doesn't matter what rank you are, apply this now, right now, all the things that we're doing. Your baby, brand new market partners, especially new blood, that's your kindling. Okay. To start a huge, large fire, you cannot throw logs on a fire and start it up. Have you guys ever tried it? I have. Okay. My husband proved to me that I can't do it. So, Annie, we've had several of those fun incidents. Okay. So anyway, you have to go off. You have to go get kindling. I just had a really cool epiphany, thought. Okay. So think about this. When you're going out to pick up sticks, because we just went camping here recently, you're not always going to get the best sticks. Some are still a little moist. They're not going to catch on fire as well. Some are really, really great, but the best ones are the big broken ones. So go after those big broken ones, but you got to start with those little pieces. So grab little kindling. Those are your market partners. Start them with heat. Now I'm going to tell you how to do that. I can't tell you how to do all of it. You guys will figure it out, and then you guys get to share with us. But I'm going to tell you one thing that will help, and that's introductions. And so let's talk about introductions for a second. You guys already know how to introduce your upline. Do you guys know how to introduce your downline and throw it back to them? So this is something that Danny Johnson taught me back about 8 years ago. Let's go back to Sarah's party, okay? We've got this party going on. And for us right now, parties look like Zooms and one-on-ones and, oh my gosh, what else? Like whatever all we're doing. Okay, right now it's like Parlor, social media, Twitter, I mean, Instagram, all the things, right? No one's going anywhere right now. Everyone's on social media right now. Everybody's there. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever put their phone down in the past couple of days, right? So that's where it is. That's where the party is. Okay, so your team page is your party. Your Zoom calls are your team parties. When you go in there with your market partners, let's say Sarah's my new market partner. I want you guys to write down some key things on how to introduce them and then how to throw it back. So you guys will learn what to do, and then you'll learn how to teach your people. Because what you practice in your business with your first market partner is going to duplicate to the rest of them. So it's really, really cool, but it's really simple. Whenever you're introducing or let's say you bring somebody into a Zoom call, I'm going to introduce Sarah to whoever I'm having, right? Well, whenever Sarah is, okay, I'm introducing Sarah. This gets really difficult. It's way better if you do a skit. Like, it's so terrible. Me and my sister have done it before. But if I'm bringing Sarah in and I'm going to introduce her to Jennifer, okay, I'm going to say, Sarah, Jennifer is one of the big hitters in the company. So like, I'm going to go up there and introduce you. So if you, that's how you do it in a room, right? Okay, so if you're doing it on social media, before you jump on these three-way calls, before you jump on the Zoom calls, and get the introduction, set the stage, get this ready, okay? Because if you don't show them that this is important and worth their time, you got to treat it like serious. Every minute counts, right? Every second is $1 earned in your business. And those dollars can duplicate to millions. And you guys know that. All right. So we are going to bring in Sarah. I'm going to say, Sarah, this is Jennifer. I've been telling Sarah all about you, Jennifer. So I just wanted you to say hi. Sarah's super excited to meet you. Sarah's going to say, hi, Jennifer. It's so nice to meet you. It's so great. Now, this is Jennifer's job as an upline and as the person in the room that's being introduced to. Jennifer is going to say, Sarah, it's so great to meet you. How do you like working with Julie? Or what do you love most about working with Julie? Because Julie is absolutely phenomenal. Julie is going to get you to the top of the company. She's going to take you places. Whatever Julie's doing, listen to her. Okay, so Jennifer's I probably should have maybe changed it around, but I don't really look at it that way. Let's say Jennifer's the upper person. Are you guys making sense? You have to throw it back to your market partner. And this is the most important reason why. You don't want everyone thinking that they can outdo you or outrank you. You don't want anyone thinking that you're the boss, that you've got all the answers. You can't answer this for everybody. This is a team movement. So you have to empower those leaders to step into their leadership. And that's what you're doing by basing that platform in which they're standing in. You're putting it in the mind. You're putting it in the atmosphere. You're also setting that relationship with those two, because a third-party validation to hear that their upline is pretty cool is a big deal. I mean, like, it gets me so excited whenever Anne's like, oh, Eric Worre, you got to meet Julie Stevens. I mean, I'm just like, oh my God, I'm just melting inside. In fact, I couldn't even take a selfie with him. I was just deer stuck in headlight, right? So it happens though. She built me up so well. So build up every single one of your leaders and throw it back to them, because you don't want to be the most responsible person on your team. You want to empower every single one of your leaders, because you are training them to be in a position in which you are in, and better. And being better is being challenging. And so throw it back to them. You don't want to carry all the weight. So do this with your babies. Go find the kindling that's out there in the forest, you guys. There's a lot of big broken hearts right now. There's a lot of broken issues in the world, whatever. Jump on social media, go make some friends and share the love. And I want to finish off by a positive message. And then I'm going to see if Sarah wants to add anything. I'm going to share this really quick story. And if you guys are not digging in the Darren Hardy book or any book, whatever, This one comes from the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Really quick, there was a man walking, and this is like a theoretical story. Has anyone ever read it? Anybody? Okay. Leslie has, I know. Okay, so listen, this book is so great. It was written in like the 1930s, I think. Well, there's a man walking down a street, and there's a storm, and there's a sunshine, and the storm's like, I bet you I can get that guy to take off his coat. And he's like, oh yeah, okay. So the wind blows, you know, trying to blow it off a little bit, and the guy like bundles it up a little bit closer, and he's like blows him even harder. He's like storming on him, giving him all this crazy stuff, and the guy zips up his coat and puts on his hood. And then the sun came out, and the guy took his coat off. That's who you need to be right now out in the world. You need to be the sunshine for everybody else. It's going to attract people. It's going to help the world. It's going to make everything else a little bit better place. So try to be that sunshine for other people right now. You can don't ever argue with anybody. If anyone right now, everything's controversial. Don't argue. Ask them to educate you. Turn it right back to them. Say, educate me. If you guys can start learning how to learn from one another instead of arguing with one another, that's the most important thing right now. And I think we need that more than anything. So utilize that as a really good way to work your business, make some connections, make some new friends. I sure have. I've been making so many friends. So Sarah, is there anything else that you would like to add on top of the, I know I didn't touch too much on the kenneling, but you guys, I think that was a really terrible story that I put out there, but I hope it makes sense. If you guys start with your babies, it starts to ignite the rank above it. So if you start with an MP, the MP hits MMP, it ignites an MB or an MMD, and then you're going to ignite an MM, and then you're going to ignite a director. And so if you start working down with these MMPs, little baby kenneling legs, and you start busting ranks, I promise you guys can build all the way to SCD. And before you know it, you've got checks that you're not recognizing, that you're bawling your eyes out over, and you're just so thankful for. And I hope that you guys are experiencing it right now. So be grateful for what you have, because whatever you have, appreciates. Do you understand that? So if you have something, you must appreciate it in order for it to grow and for you to be blessed with even more. So Sarah, anything else you want to add before we jump off of here?
Yeah, just really quick, there was a question in the chat. Somebody was asking about the edification. So they were saying, when you say team page, do you mean our nearest directors page, then introduce and edify? I think what I take Julie to mean is that in every capacity that you have the chance to edify your market partners, you're down at every opportunity. So introductions into a team page, introductions on your personal social media, like
introductions into Telegram,
into
dude, build it up. Say, guys, you want the stuff, it's right here. Go. Yeah.
Getting your people, yeah, telling people, like Julie, when she introduces me to people, she paints me out to be the biggest rock star, and I do the same for her. It's this,
she does it first, and then I come back around and I throw it back to her, because I don't want all of her market partners thinking I've got all the answers. I am wanting to, you know, build Sarah up as this leader, that way they can grow together. If everyone kept passing over their uplines to go to, you know, the next upline, then there would be so many missing gaps of growth and amazing relationships being built along the way, because they thought that someone else had it better than them. I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, so glow on your people every opportunity that you have, publicly, every chance that you get. The other thing is, before we go, and I want to leave you guys with this, yesterday, the day before yesterday, I was feeling really stuck, like life had just come to this screeching halt, because I felt like everybody's eyeballs were tied up in the election, and it is, right? That's everybody. So I am not using this as an opportunity to post like my best content. I'm kind of holding on to that because I know eyeballs are limited, but I'm using this as an opportunity to talk and connect with people that I have no idea who they are. So it doesn't matter who you voted for, but whoever it is, find the people that voted for the same person and get in their conversations, get in private messages with them, like, and don't do it publicly. If they post something, say say they post a quote or something, instead of commenting on the post, reach out to them in a private message and create the conversation there. This is an opportunity to create unlimited. I have so many new conversations going with people. I have no idea who they are. We should all be doing the same thing. So if you're feeling stuck, like take it, behind the scenes and create some serious momentum. So we'll be back to normal next week. Wednesday, we have What the Heck Wednesday with Krista Jor. She's going to share with you how she recruits 10 VIP customers a month for the past 3 years. It's going to be amazing. So make sure you share it with your people. Anything else, Julie?
I think that was so great.
Perfect. All right, friends, you guys have a good night and we'll see you later. Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
You guys are the best. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.